You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butonoff coming to you live from our home studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up later on this hour for Audio Sorbet after the 10:30 news.
Ooh.
Greg and Calvin bring me up to date. Things I might have missed.
There's this new thing called eBay. You can buy and sell anything.
So they're going to bring me up to date with some lighter things after the 10:30 news for Audio Sorbet, and then we'll wrap it up with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today it's the See You Later Alligator, kind of along the lines of what you might be thinking, so stay tuned for that. Right now, delighted to be joined by our friend and colleague and host of the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. Dr. Kristen Lyerly is here. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. We are good. We're all back together. Happy to be back. Happy my key card still worked.
You've got this thing about you right now, Jane. I don't know, Greg, do you see it? She's got I don't know, you are kind of glowing a little bit. Like you feel good,
Relaxed. Had a chance to, I read some books, actual books.
How do I look?
You look like
Great.
you look fabulous, Greg. You look gorgeous.
I just saw you.
I know.
You look like Greg.
Good save. Wow. Okay. Holy cow. You look like
But
Greg.
just real quickly, if you need a book that's actually going to make you laugh out loud, get the book High Fidelity, which is an old book now. They made it into a movie with John Cusack. The book is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting into a movie with John Cusack.
What?
The book is hilarious.
Wyatt,
where is that coming from?
No idea.
Oh, I don't hear it.
Oh, that was very odd. I heard myself coming back about 5 seconds late.
Oh, I thought you were making some sort of a gesture. I was like, Jane, they can't see you on the radio when you're doing that with your face.
Anyway, read the book High Fidelity by John Hornby. You will laugh out loud.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. One of the funniest books I've read in decades.
And Tony on the live stream says, Greg, you look like you've been watching the news. We all do.
Yeah,
That's true.
There is something to be said for getting off of social media, getting off of your devices, and touching grass.
How do you do it, though? Because we are so connected
Right.
in so many ways for so many different reasons. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and she was advised to get off her social media, but you can't.
It's really hard.
You can change what you're doing maybe, but we, especially people like us who are paying attention, we have a thirst and need to know.
To know, yep.
Some people can just turn it off. Some people can just walk away, but we feel like we need to stay in tune because we're part of the solution. I think that's how I feel.
Well, we're sharing information, and it is incumbent then upon us to have information and as much information as possible, right? And
Yeah.
And so that's part of our responsibility. It is.
Also, what would any of you do if I walked in one day and you're like, well, let's talk about this? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Well,
That would not be
Didn't you
good.
read about that in the news?
No.
I don't read the news. I don't read the social media. It's part of our job. That's just that thing of maybe it's about taking all of your social. I'm on a lot of social media. Maybe it's about saying, all right, here are the things I can use for my job. The other things are extraneous. I'll either deactivate them, sign out, delete the app, come back if needed, but say, all right, I need this. Cool. I have these things done.
I mean, even while I was off, and I would still check every day, but I wouldn't be on it for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I would do my one check in the morning, turn it off,
Yeah.
do another check, and then turn it off.
Yeah.
And read an actual book, or sit outside and look at the moon or whatever. It
Yeah.
really. I understand completely what you're saying, Kristen, in that we can't shut all of it off, but taking a little break and taking a little carve out is really critical.
Yeah.
It is.
I personally found what I've been trying to do lately is, because I'm a very much an offender of this, whatever. I commit this all the time. I'm watching a TV show on my television while looking at my phone. So what I do now, and it has to be a purposeful and an intentional act. I have to take my phone, put it across the room upside down so it goes into do not disturb mode, and I just watch the TV show I'm watching or the movie that I'm watching. And then, or at the very least, if I say I want to check something on my phone, I pause the TV. So I at least am giving attention to one thing and one thing only. But that's like, that can be a start.
Yes.
I'm not asking everyone to delete everything on their social media, but there is something to be said about at least giving your attention to one thing at one time. Because when you're watching a movie and you're not watching it and you're doing this thing, nothing is happening.
Well,
Nothing's happening.
I can't tell you the number of people that we saw when we were away, and you've got a family of 4, and you're at a beautiful restaurant, and the ocean is in the background, and all 4 of them are on their phones.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you seeing any of what is happening around you, and are you taking any? You're missing it. We're missing life so many times, I think.
Yeah.
I do too. And I think part of it for all of us as individuals is we have to figure out how to live with this.
Right.
It's like any other thing that you can get addicted to. How do you do that thing in moderation so that it works in your life, but it doesn't consume you?
Yes.
And it doesn't start to cause physical or mental health problems for you. And that answer is going to be different for everybody.
Right.
I know for me, I am not a big consumer of social media, but I am a producer of social media. So that is where it ends up being a problem. And I've got to figure out how to make myself more efficient because I want to keep putting videos out there because I think that the information that I'm putting out there is combating some of the misinformation that other folks are putting out there. And I feel like it does help. So I don't want to turn that off.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to, sit and doom scroll before I go to sleep at night
Yeah.
because that's not good for my brain. It doesn't help my sleep patterns.
Right.
And in general, it is not something that is good for me.
The blue screen before you go to sleep.
Yes.
And I've done an experiment with myself, as opposed to reading an actual book,
Yeah.
as opposed to even reading a book on my Kindle. And I do not sleep. It takes me much longer to fall asleep when you're on a screen. And
Because it turns your brain on.
It does.
The light turns your brain on.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I try to no screen time for at least an hour before going to bed.
My brother-in-law, Dr. Lyler, you went to medical school with him. And if you know me, I've struggled with sleep issues for a very long time. Shout out to the CPAP. But one of the things I do, I still do. I have a TV in my bedroom. I have a phone in my hand, and he has told me more than one time. He said at 3 hours, stop doing work. At 2 hours, turn off all screens. At 1 hour, get yourself ready and in that place for bed. And he goes, and Greg, bed is for 2 things. That's it. And I said,
What are they?
moving on. But I mean, but the thing, I feel so uncomfortable right now.
Sleeping in
listen
chess.
to you laugh.
That's-
Listen
sleeping
to
in
you
chess.
laugh.
That's what it's for.
Oh my giggles, you giggler. But it's not, and that's what's crazy is if you said that to people, if you just put that out there in the world, said 3 hours, stop working before bed, 2 hours, turn off all screens, 1 hour, prep yourself. And he says, he's like, I don't even suggest you read in bed that much. Read for a little bit, but don't read half the book. You've got to let yourself, because even when you're reading a book, a physical book, your brain's still working. You've got to give yourself time to slowly ramp down and then get yourself some good sleep. And that's different for everybody. I don't subscribe to 8 hours because it's different for everybody. But that at least is a good way of looking at it, and something I personally still struggle with, getting myself to that place. Because also, as you just said, Jane, it feels like we're connected, but we're not. But it's how we stay connected. We stay in them because now everything's so instant. How many times have you had, did you hear about that thing that just happened right now that I saw on the social media?
It was 4 minutes ago and I missed it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fear of missing out.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed though in my kids who are all Gen Zs, they are not like we are about responding to texts. And this might also be a gender thing because they're all guys, but I'll send texts to them and they won't be like Johnny on the spot about returning that text. And in fact, sometimes they won't return the text at all. So I think that they have, because they've grown up with it, they already have some skills that we don't have because we incorporated it and we're trying to juggle it with all the other things that we're doing. So hopefully the younger generations will be better at this than we are.
That's really interesting. By the way, Dr. Kristen Lyerly is our guest, our friend and colleague and host of the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. There is something with the generation. I grew up in the generation of if the phone rang, because that was when we had landlines only.
Oh, yeah.
If the phone rang, you answered it every time it rang. Because
if you didn't,
you would miss. You didn't know what you were missing. So I think I'm the same way with text. It's like I got a text. I must instantaneously answer this because that's what we do.
And there's an automatic offense that comes, you feel inside when someone doesn't get back to you.
Now
and
you're dissing me.
Exactly.
It's been 5 whole seconds.
And you have to do that passive aggressive thing where like, oh, I sent you that message. Did you see that message? And inside you're like, validate me. But yeah, that's very tough. I will say one thing about the landline thing. You answered the phone at 9:01 at night, and the first words out of your mouth, you say, "Why are you calling so late?"
No, it was
that is true.
No, it was Matt Nair Funeral Home. That was
okay. All
that
right.
was how I
That's
answered the
right.
phone because you had to answer the phone. Calvin, resident young person, as far as responding to texts and stuff like that, do you blow? You don't blow me off because you know I'm an old person, and I will ask, "Did you get this? Why are you not responding? Did you get my text?
Are you in a ditch?
Are you okay?"
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing is I'm probably on my phone, so the odds are I see the text message. So if it's my mom, or if it's work related, or if it's Jane and I need to help her out with something. Jane has texted me like 3 times total since I've worked here, so she's exaggerating a little. But yeah, and I get back to those type of things right away. But me and my friends, like if we're just having a casual conversation, we'll go hours or days without returning to the conversation.
How are you people so confident in your own selves? I don't understand this.
Like I'll put a text out there like, "Hey guys, what do you want for dinner?"
Hello.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's the
Just
plan. Like,
send it
this
into
doesn't
the
just
void.
appear.
Which Dr. Lyler, what you say to one of them and say, hey, that person you find really cute and you might want to ask out, they wanted to know what you'd like for dinner tonight. And then they'd be like, oh, I see what you did there.
You have to
Throw a
lure
little
'em.
candy. Throw a
You
little
gotta
candy.
lure 'em in somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
that's not going to be the candy. The candy is going to be, did you see that new video game? That is the only thing that's going to bring them in.
It's called What Do You Want for
video
Dinner? Or What Time You Coming Home?
Tony on the live stream says phones ring. I thought those were just alarm clocks. Yes, Tony, phones actually used to ring.
I was watching, I can't remember what movie I was watching this weekend, but they were on their cell phones. And cell phones in movies have come a long way. Before they would just have the front screen on. You're like, you're not talking to anybody, but now they have it. But this person got hung up on, and then you just heard a dial tone. I'm like, that's not what happens on cell phones.
No.
In 2025 or ever. It's just, you stop.
We need to bring that back,
Yeah,
actually.
oh,
So the
that-
slamming down
that's such a good
of
feeling.
the phone receiver was a very, very satisfying thing.
Oh, yeah?
Take that. Yeah, that's not the same.
No.
We're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Kristen Lyerly about measles. That's what we're going to do next. You're listening to Matt Nair on air, coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay with us.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Good morning and welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, the Board Lord, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. We're joined by Dr. Kristen Lyerly, friend, colleague, host of the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. And we wanted to talk a little bit about measles because measles cases continue to grow in Wisconsin and grow nationwide from what I've been seeing.
It's in almost every single state. But what we're seeing here in Wisconsin is Oconto County is the nidus of this infection. And right now, there are 36 cases, so up 9 cases from this time last week. We'll get a new updated number tomorrow. They check every Tuesday and Friday. So measles is incredibly contagious. We all know that COVID is contagious. Measles is way more contagious than COVID. And your best bet at not getting measles is making sure that you are vaccinated. And if you are not vaccinated, get your vaccine if you can. We all have to do that in order to protect really young kids who can't get the vaccine yet and people who are just around in our community who also either can't get the vaccine or for whatever reason just don't develop that immunity. They need herd immunity. 95% of us have to be vaccinated in order to provide that herd immunity. And right now, Oconto County, I think the kids' vaccination number is like 74%. They are very low. Wisconsin is the second worst state when it comes to vaccinating our kids for measles. So I'm really concerned that this 36 cases in Oconto right now is just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, school is just getting started. So, that it's only going to, as you said, I'm with you. I think it's only going to grow. And I also think, Dr. Lyerly, that there is this assumption because we've had it under control for so long that it's not that serious of a disease. That if I get measles, you get measles and you're down for a week and you get some red spots and you go on with your day. That's not necessarily true.
Well, nobody knows that better than you, Jane. I think of you every time somebody says that to me and how you've had measles. You were sick as a dog when you had it.
I had it when I was a sophomore in high school. I got the red measles, and there with some of these old wives' tales, there is a grain of truth to them. But what I remember is my mother keeping me in a dark room for 2 weeks because of concerns that because I had the measles, light could destroy my vision. Now, there is an element of people who have measles that can affect their vision, correct? I mean, there are far more serious ramifications from measles than people are aware of anymore because we had eradicated it for so long.
Yes. 1 to 3 out of every 1,000 children who get measles will die. Will die.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take into account the kids who have permanent hearing loss, who suffer from brain infections, who go blind because they get a measles infection and then they're permanently disabled as a result of it. So for folks out there who are saying, just get the disease and then you'll be immune, well, that is true, but it's risks versus benefits. And the risks of the shot are incredibly low. We've had the MMR vaccine for decades. We know that this is safe for almost everybody, but the risks of actually getting measles are real. And they're very real for young children who are incredibly vulnerable.
I know that I'm not going to get into all of it regarding the vaccines, but I feel like there was a time when it was just the COVID vaccine was something you could easily say, I don't want it because of whatever. And no one really touched our pre-existing vaccines for the most part. I mean, you have the people out there.
They did.
Okay. Well, I guess it's just.
They actually did. Because here in Wisconsin, we've had an exemption
Yeah.
for whatever reason. So parents could just decline any vaccinations for any reason. And that is why our vaccine rates are so low. This is something that the Wisconsin Medical Society, which tends to be a pretty conservative organization, has lied on repeatedly because over the past 15 years, and I hate to make it political, but it is political, our Republican-controlled legislature has really pushed back on vaccines. And it's been difficult for us to try to protect the public in general, to try to reinforce our public health measures. So yeah.
I'm sorry to have to say this, but there were at least 2 children in Texas who died from measles this year. This is happening now. This isn't from the 1940s, the 1950s. This is happening now where we have children dying from diseases we, for the most part, have eradicated. So,
you know what? The thing that makes me so crazy about this too is every time I post about this, people say they're just illegals.
What?
They get pulled into this whole political. They must be saying something on Fox News that these folks who are getting measles are undocumented immigrants and tying those things together. Yeah, I don't know that for sure. I haven't heard it, but I definitely see that argument coming up over and over and over again. And there is, again, a grain of truth that sometimes immigrants don't have the same level of vaccination that we do, but what the reason for people getting measles is because they are not vaccinated, not because they are immigrants.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, real quickly, the Washington Post, the American parents who are choosing to skip or delay vaccines for their kids are more likely to homeschool, be white, be very religious, identify as Republican, or be under 35.
And if you say to
Ding,
me
ding,
that
ding.
the people who are getting this and that means you say you don't care that undocumented people die. That means that like a life is not a life to you. A life is qualified by
There are qualifiers.
various things. And if you're talking about Fox News, well, if they're unhoused, well, then they just want to kill them. So
Yeah, well, we'll get to Brian Kilmeade tomorrow. That's a whole nother discussion. Dr. Kristen Lyerly, our friend and colleague, host of the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. Always a pleasure. Thank you so very much, my friend. We will see you
Right
soon.
back at you, sister. Take care.
News coming up next when we return. A little audio sorbet to lighten things up just a hair. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach. Our resident young person, Calvin, on the board, coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same. It's 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. The Brewers off today. They are back in action tomorrow night as they host the LA Angels. Our broadcast starts tomorrow, 6:05. You can listen on terrestrial radio. That games do not stream, but you can listen on terrestrial radio here in Racine and Kenosha on WRJN and on WBZH in Hayward. Crew hosting the Angels tomorrow. The broadcast starts at 6:05. Don't forget as well this Friday, our final free ticket Friday of the season. So starting with Pat Kreitlow at 6 a.m., be listening for a keyword. You want to text in that keyword. Every show will have a different one for you. You text in the keyword, and you are in the running for a 4-pack of Milwaukee Brewers Club level tickets. Hot seats, baby.
yes, they are very hot.
They're hot seats.
Their temperature is very
They're
high.
warm seats.
Those are warm seats because they're cushioned.
Oh, yes. Nicely cushioned.
Yeah.
And you must have the Civic Media app if you want to enter the game.
Yeah.
Go to wherever you get your apps. It is
Absolutely free.
won't cost you a dime. Absolutely free. And it really is pretty great because you can pick stations from all across the network, whether you want to listen to talk, maybe you want to listen to music.
Yeah.
You can do that too. We have great music stations all across the state.
And the app also allows you not just to text us, you can call us through the app. You can leave a voice note.
Yes.
And what's really fun is people taking their devices with them on vacation, using that app to listen to the show, and then say, hey, I'm listening in New Zealand. Literally a text we got. Vienna, Germany. It's great to see people utilizing the app. Also, as an aside, thank you for making us part of your vacation. You don't have to listen if you didn't want to, and you do, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely. Makes it means a lot. It means a lot.
Yes.
So make sure you download the Civic Media app before Friday. We would like to be able to get you into the running for that. All right, this is the portion of the show that we have always called, or developed into rather, audio sorbet.
Ooh.
Where we lighten things up, get away from the news so we can all take a breath, hopefully not lose our minds. And today, it's you and Calvin have come up with today's audio sorbet.
So I was just made aware today that you've been gone for almost 3 weeks. I had no idea. I was sitting in the wrong chair the entire time.
Never noticed.
We thought that Calvin and I would pick our favorite 3 stories that we've been talking about since you weren't here.
Okay.
They will be on the lighter side. We're not going to go into the heavy, deep stuff. And they may overlap. Who knows? We may be of one mind, one brain, mostly Calvin's. Mine is like 4%. So, Calvin, would you like to start with one?
Sure. I thought one of our great featured stories and guests was economics professor Rick Reed.
Yes.
We had him on in response to Donald Trump attacking the
Fed chair.
Fed chair.
Yeah.
And Rick was just a lot of fun. He brought a visual aid to break down the difference between monetary and fiscal policy for
that
us.
is so awesome. He brought visual aids.
Yes, it was a really good segment.
Oh, that's great.
It was great. Yeah, you can, and I don't know if we got that out in the world, but yeah, he was great. He was great. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful.
Well, and what I love about that is when you hear someone say, and tomorrow we're talking about economics. Join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
But we have found we have found guests who do make these very dry topics understandable and relatable because we are not economists.
No.
That's why we bring in people who are and can explain difficult things to people like us.
Yeah, and what's great about Rick is that he's a teacher, so he knows how to take those topics and say, here, let's make it fun. Can we make it fun? And he did. I mean, I don't know about you, Calvin, when I saw really quick, he basically put, he would have an example, a sticker on one hand saying one where he goes, on the other hand, so he was breaking it all down. And I'm just like, I know everything now about economics. Yeah, so it was great.
But isn't that a great feeling when you can walk away from something like this and go, oh my gosh, I learned this thing that I did not know before. That's fabulous.
Absolutely.
We will have him back.
Oh yeah, he's one of the, in my opinion, he's one of the regulars because he contacted us. He's like, I haven't been on the show in a while. I'm like, you're right. So there we go.
Fabulous.
All right.
Okay. Up to speed on Rick Reed.
We also had Sarah Godlewski on the show after she announced her bid for lieutenant governor of Wisconsin, and it was just great to have her on because we started it off with, tell us your story, and her story is what really made me smile, is because this isn't someone who said at a young age, I'm going to run for this and become this, and someday I'm going to be the president or governor. She ran out of necessity because she found out that there was something happening in the Wisconsin government that she didn't like, and they were going to get rid of the job of treasurer, I believe, and she ran for it.
Right.
And because of that started her career, not because she had this grand vision and people were like prompting her and giving her money. She saw a need. She stepped up and she got into public service. And also for me personally, because I really like Sarah, she also refers to herself as a numbers dork. She had my heart from that moment. She's running for lieutenant governor. It's not the top spot. It's not something everyone knows about, but she sees value in the position and what she can bring to it, working with whomever becomes the governor, because it's not Bush Cheney. It's not Obama Biden. It's two separate people from two separate parties running.
It can be, yes.
So I really enjoyed listening to her talk about it because she also just comes from very middle class working folks, and she knows what Wisconsinites need. It didn't feel like she was campaigning. She was just talking about her story in her life. So that was one of my favorites.
Well, and I think it's her origin story as far as getting into politics. I think we are seeing more of that.
Yes.
Especially in the last few years.
Yeah.
And especially it seems to be more women are stepping up and saying, yeah, I don't like this anymore, and I'm not seeing any progress happening, and I don't like the current candidate, so I guess I'm just going to have to do it myself.
Yeah. So that was one of my favorites.
Excellent.
Calvin, what's your next one?
The next one I'll bring up is a Tisbat, actually.
I know which one this is.
This one we entitled This Snack Will Shock You edition.
Oh, I like it already.
A Dutch snack company recently released a new flavor of chip that is meant to revisit one of the 90s weirdest shared experiences, licking a 9-volt battery. It is flavored with a blend of citric acid and sodium bicarbonate to create the tongue-tingling effect, and balanced out with mineral salts, which gives it a metallic tang.
I'm just saying this right now. Stop looking at me, Jane, like I did this. Yeah. I was one of those things where I almost said we need to keep this, but no, we need to. Yeah.
Are they selling a lot of these?
You can only find them in Holland. You can order them online, because that was the thing, is like when you hear, I think it's safe to say, Calvin and our listeners, when you say 9-volt battery flavored corn chip, your first thought is, where in America can I buy this? That seems like an America thing. In fact, I would almost say Holland is traipsing on our branding, but you can get it online, but it's not available in shops in America. It's only available in Holland. But when I was becoming increasingly angry as I was reading this, because one, that's not a 90s sensation. People have been licking batteries since
It's the dawn of time.
since they've been around.
The dawn of batteries. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
The first battery guy was like, what's going to happen if I do that? And
What
he
does
did.
this taste like? It tastes like chips.
You know that's what happened.
But yeah, Calvin has definitely, you like that one. And I just felt, I don't know why I felt embarrassed. It's not an American invention, but for some reason it just feels like someone said, what would Americans do? Let's have battery chips.
That, and you're probably not far off.
Nope.
And now there's probably some company in America going, oh, that could have been our golden standard, right?
That could have been our Big Mac.
Oh my goodness. That's quite something.
Yes, quite
That's
something.
quite something.
We had a wonderful interview with a gentleman named Brian Wadsworth. He is a chief operating officer, my apologies, chief operating officer of Native Public Media. So while you were gone, and we talked about the closure of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, we
Right.
spoke to Kate Riley. And we spoke to Robert Pilot on what this means, because she is the CEO of America's Public Television Stations. Robert is the host of Native Roots here on Civic Media.
Yep.
And Brian came on to talk about the work that Native Public Media has to do now because of the closure. And their budget alone was cut by 50%, but it doesn't stop them, of course. They got right into fundraising, right into planning, right into production mode, trying to see what we can do to get more monies. We also did discuss a story in the Wisconsin Examiner that talks about a handshake deal with a South Dakota senator who has, this is going to make you mad, in exchange for his vote for the bill, for the budget.
What's he getting?
Well, no, not what he's getting. What he's going to get them, $9 million to help them, but they have not gotten a call back yet. So he voted for the big bill for billionaires. And they said, okay, as long as we can get this $9 million.
And now he's not answering
And
their
now
calls.
no one's getting back to them. There's no update yet. And I told them to get back to us if there is, because I want to know. But at this point,
They were lied to.
they're being not contacted back. But I loved the conversation with Brian because, one, this is something that we are going to keep on. The closure for public broadcast, the closure of that corporation means that a lot of public stations not affiliated with NPR and PBS are in trouble. And it's good to hear the story of Brian and his group and what they're doing to take action.
Yep.
And that's what they're doing. So
And
that
to
was
keep it alive.
That was another great one.
Well, and just as a reminder as well, folks, if you've missed any of these interviews
Correct.
and you would like to hear them, you can always go to our website, go to civicmedia.us, and you click on shows at the top. And there's at least 100 prior shows.
Yes.
And Greg does a great job of little compilations so you know what is in each episode. I believe you can even search by guest.
Yeah, you can search.
Is
you
it
just go to-
function that it
you can
has?
just- you can go to Google and you can search Civic Media, the guest name, and it will pop up. And actually, each guest now has their own little homepage. So say someone like a Kristen Lyerly comes on, you can actually go to a specific webpage and it shows all of her appearances.
That's great.
So it's very functional. If you go to civicmedia.us/shows and you can listen to these episodes, you can download them directly to your device. You can listen to them anytime you would like if you want to catch up. But yeah, that's another great story. Calvin, I think we have time for one more.
Yeah, we're going to have to do this a little quickly, so
Okay.
we might not be able to give it too much time. But Groundswell Collective, we
Yes.
had on, they were fantastic. Marilyn Hayden, she is elderly and legally blind, and she was one of the founding members of Groundswell Collective, working on getting public transportation in Walworth County and around South Central Wisconsin.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that's a great interview. It's a 3-part interview we did with them as well. So if you want to go back and listen, that was last week. Great story about organizing, about transportation for folks who need it. But that was a great conversation with Jeremiah Gomez and Marilyn Hayden of Groundswell Collective.
Well, thank you for bringing me up to speed.
You're all caught up. Nothing else happened while
you
you're
guys-
gone.
You don't need me here at all.
Hey,
Extraneous. Extraneous genius.
that's the worst Harry Potter spell ever. Worst.
Worst.
Well, I don't want to get rid of you.
Okay. When we return, we're going to wrap it up as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. See you later, Alligator Edition. It's kind of what you think. Don't go away. You're listening to Matt Nair on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Sweet Calby on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Tom Hartman coming your way from 11 to 2. Our friend and colleague Todd Alba from 2 to 4. Todd's going to be joining us tomorrow morning
Exactly.
after 9:30, so make sure you're here for that. Also joining us tomorrow, Sarah Harrison is now a candidate. She's running for State Senate District 5. Sarah will be joining us in hour number 2, so that is all coming up tomorrow. Right now, though, Calvin, 10:53. That means it's time for...
This shouldn't be a thing.
As always, if you find a thing you think should not be, send it into Greg and me at janesays at civicmedia.us, JANESAYS, Jane Says at civicmedia.us. This one Calvin found from NBC News. David K. Lee, that lucky man, has the byline. The headline reads, Emotional Support Alligator is no longer welcome in Pennsylvania Walmart. Wesley Silva, 60, said he's never had anything but encouraging feedback when he's out and about with Ginny Oshie. His emotional support alligator. Wesley says he's never had a problem before until this recent trip earned them orders to stay away, according to Walmart. Wes and his 5-foot-long, 32-pound reptile named Ginny Oshie made local news after the Walmart trip, where he was pushing the alligator around in a shopping cart.
Have you seen a picture, though?
As she was wearing a dress.
Yes. I saw a picture, and the one I saw, it was wearing a nice little sweater.
And it's got a little fur collar around it.
Yes.
Yes. Before concerns about the recent visit were raised, Wesley says they've gotten nothing but praise in the past. We've been going to that Walmart for about 3.5 years. And normally the reaction is, that's pretty cool, or that's awesome that you have a pet alligator, man. A spokesperson for Walmart, though, was less than effusive about Ginny Oshie and any other gators. They are no longer welcome inside the store. Quote, the safety of our customers and associates is our highest priority. We welcome service animals in our stores. It is unacceptable to expose members of the public to potential danger, unquote.
You ever been in a Walmart at 2:30 in the morning?
Is that when all the emotional alligators come out?
I would say it's when certain individuals come out, and I fear for. I've been in Walmarts late at night. I'm like, I'd rather be next to an alligator than this guy who can't find NyQuil.
Wesley says he got the alligator from a neighbor who couldn't care for it anymore. He says she spends much of her days in a pool, outside, and nights in the bathtub. He already has a zoo's worth of reptiles at home, including 6 snakes, a leopard gecko, a Komodo dragon. That's a really bad idea.
A leopard? You can have a leopard?
An ocellated leopard gecko.
Oh, leopard gecko. Okay.
A Komodo dragon, an ocellated skink, and a second alligator. He also has a dog.
I feel like half of those things you just made up.
I don't even know what an ocellated skink is.
That's
and
what I was going to say.
Now I think I want
It
one.
sounds like something that's like a compression part that goes into heavy machinery. Like, you got the oscillating skink?
Bring that ocellated skink over. Yep.
Not the 7th, 8th, the 12th, 14th. Sheesh.
Wesley is a pastor at a Baptist church. He said, quote, in the Bible, God talks about us having dominion over animals. I developed an affinity for the reptiles. I find them very soothing, unquote. His reptile collection started 3 years ago when one of his daughters wanted a snake. I held it one night and really started bonding with it. Finally, she gave me an ultimatum. Dad, you really need to get your own snake. Who hasn't heard that?
Yeah, I mean, what house in America I mean, let me rephrase that. What house in Florida
yes.
hasn't heard that sentence
Get
be
your
uttered?
own
Yeah.
darn snake.
You know what I'm going to say? The thing that the thing that should not be is the narrow-mindedness of Walmart. That's right, I said it. I think that, if no one had a problem ever before, I think that I think it's cool. I'm for it. Go for it.
You're not getting one.
I'm not going to get it. I barely can make my dog like me. You think I can make like a reptile like me? My goodness, you think a great deal of my abilities.
That wraps up today's episode of
This Shouldn't Be a Thing.
Oscillated Skink. Now I got to look that up.
Oh,
just 'cause
wow.
I'm curious.
It's a beautiful animal.
Is it beautiful?
It's very beautiful. Calvin just sent us a picture of an ocellated skink.
Oh, where is it?
It's
Oh, it's a lizard.
Chalicides ocellatus in the skink. I feel
It's
like
a speckled lizard.
I feel like I'm saying these words, and I feel like the FCC can hit me with something because they don't know these words as well as I don't.
Did he
but
say oscillated skink?
what did he say again?
$500 fine.
There you go.
Thank you, Greg and Calvin and all of our engineers and everyone at Civic. Without you, nothing works. And thank you, most of all, for calling and for texting and for listening. It really does mean the world. Thank you guys for hanging down the fort. You did such a great job. Love
Thank
you
you
to
very
death.
much.
And I hope you will join us tomorrow. I hope you find some joy today, even if it's just a little bit, and you have the chance to share it. Keep it right here on the Civic Media Radio Network, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.